Hey guys, this is Braden Smith. Today I'm going to be talking about one of the most versatile lures on the fishing market, and that is the Senko. For me, the Senko is a confidence bait. I throw it year round. There's a multitude of different ways you can rig it up. You can throw it during the hot and cold seasons, and you're always going to land some bass. So first off, I want to talk about some of the different ways you can rig up a Senko. So first, I'm going to talk about the weightless Texas rig. And I had this paired with a 3-eye EWG hook. So the best way to fish this for me is just to cast it out, let it fall on slack line, let the Senko do its thing by quivering down, and you're gonna watch your line. So when it jumps or starts running, that's when you're gonna set the hook. It's great to throw this around bass beds, so during the spawn, because during the spawn, the bass are very aggressive, so anything that comes toward their nest, they're gonna attack you right off the bat. And this is great because it's just gonna fall right in their face and you're gonna get a lot of fish on it. Next, we have the weighted Texas rig. So this is great to throw whenever you're around a little bit of cover or even heavy cover. You can flip it or pitch it in there, and it's gonna fall straight down because you have that weight right down there. It's gonna cause it to fall down like a bullet. So it's gonna slip right through the cover because it's also got a very slim profile. So the way you're gonna fish this is just drag it slowly, and whenever you're gonna pause it, you're gonna start shaking your rod, and that's gonna trigger a lot of bites. Next, we have the wacky rig. So you can see I like using an O-ring on this rather than hooking it straight through the body because it's gonna help your bait last a lot longer. So instead of getting one fish on a Senko, this is gonna last for 5 or 6, maybe even longer. But I like pairing that up with also with a 1/0 Neko hook. And the best way to fish this for me, it's my favorite way to fish a Senko, is just letting it fall down and it's gonna quiver. So when it's falling down, you're randomly just gonna give your rod a little bit of twitch, and it's gonna cause that bait to go even crazier down, and it's gonna cause that reaction strike. And it's caught me a lot of fish. I like to pitch this around cover or around docks, and it's my #1 go-to rig for a Senko. Next, we have a rig that's very similar to the wacky rig, only here we have a nail weight right at the end of that Senko. So the bait's gonna get down through the cover a lot faster, and you're gonna be able to fish this pretty fast. It's gonna look like a feeding bait fish, and it's gonna stand up like so. I don't usually like using like a straight tail for the Neko rig. I kind of like using a Senko that has a little bit of a tail then, like the Quiver, so it has that little flap appendage that looks more natural. Or using a hula stick that has these little appendages at the bottom, so when you're working on the bottom, they're just gonna go crazy, and it's gonna get the bass's attention just that much more. There have been many different versions of the Senko throughout the years. Each one has a defining quality and a different time and place when you can use it. So here's a few of the different versions, but first I'm going to talk about the original, which is the Yamamoto Senko. And most people like throwing a 5-inch version of this, and what separates it from every other Senko, I believe, is just the way it falls through the water. It just has a specific quiver that bass just react to a lot more than any other Senko I've ever seen. So we have that, but also we have the one I've been using in the videos, the Yumdinger. This is a lot more durable Senko. It probably doesn't have the same fall as the Yamamoto, but it's definitely a very durable bait, and it's been used for years, and fishermen love it. Next, we have the Strike King Ocho. As you can see, the defining quality about this one is it has 8 flat sides, which gives it a little bit different presentation, a little bit different fall, a little bit different action. So it's a nice change up from your standard Senko, and it's go-to. And next we have the Reaction Innovations Pocket Rocket. As you can see, it's not your standard Senko where it's slender throughout the body. It has 2 bulbous ends and a very thin middle. So this is mainly used for a wacky rig. It gives it a very dramatic quiver on the way down, and it'll get you a lot of bites. It definitely has its time and place, as they all do. But this is definitely a wacky rig for me. And like I was telling you about the Neko Senkos, so like we have the Quiver with the little flap appendage at the bottom, and the Z-Man hula stick has those little appendages at the top going crazy when you're working it across the bottom like a bait fish. So that's my video on the Senko. Let me know what ways you like to rig it, or what's your favorite version of the Senko you like to use. But thanks for tuning in.